Bugger, just press pause. I'm out having a lovely trail run because it's one foot in front of the other. Doesn't really change anything out here. But when I'm sitting around in a house of my own, going over notes, going over photos, going over experience, it just brings everything back up. You know, nightmares are screaming, but no one's listening. You're being gaslit. It's just not fun. So, why adhere to some arbitrary timeline just because of optics? No. If I was in a good spot, I could have smashed out some bogus report. A couple of hours would have meant nothing to me, would have felt nothing. It's not about that. It's about putting down what's true. It's about changing culture, about changing other people's mindsets who themselves have admitted to being ignorant and not understanding mental health. But when push comes to shove, they change their stories, assassinate your character, or attempt to. I can laugh about it. It seems ridiculous to me. And those that know me probably share that same view. But just wondering what's up ahead here. It sounds like a car. So yeah, it's a little window into some of the difficulties I'm facing. Back on Kokoda Trail though. This lovely 1 kilometre climb up to the summit trail. It is the Ute. Hey. Wonder if I'm going to beat the Ute up. It's not a race. I'll go back into that a bit, but for the moment, just going to focus on getting up this hill, one thing at a time. Not a bad spot for a warm-up. Bloody dogs make it look so easy up front. Morning.
Hi.
How you going?
Good. Better than you. Yeah.
I doubt that. I'm the one running. Just gonna walk, try and keep the cadence high. Never quite does it justice. Is that my magic marker tree? So that one up there. One up there. So the top's in line with that. When we've already climbed 750 meters from where the Kokoda Trail started. Probably another 100 and something invert from the bottom. Good warm up. Doesn't feel that slippy. Might had some rain. Bit relieved I'm not doing another 10 of these today. Only the equivalent of 4. Because I'll drop down over the other side. Actually no, 2. And come back over again. Up Powerful Owl, which is almost just as fun. But there it is. They're down there somewhere. Give myself to the road to recover, and then we're on the summit trail. That's how you do that. No poles. Yeah. Keep the posture steady. Cadence fairly high. Short steps. Lots of them. Trying to kind of lean up, but forward, keeping that momentum being driven into the hill. And nice bit of single track. So I probably should have checked out the monologue, but I'm hoping you guys got the gist of it. Woke up today feeling substantially better than yesterday, more so mentally and physically. After a ride, bit of a swim, and a chance to stretch out. Body's obviously responded to it pretty well. I did wake up when I was supposed to. Kind of listen to my body. And again, as much as I'm cutting the time short in between 2 training sessions, I think getting that extra couple of hours just to hit reset makes the difference between being mentally strong as well as physically, because it is quite draining going around that carousel, fixating on, you know, little problems, having to have the mental presence to challenge yourself on it and not challenge yourself. Morning, how are you? Yeah, it can be incredibly challenging and draining. So as much as you don't necessarily try and fight yourself when you're doing that, there are processes that I go through, like writing things out, asking myself what action I can take or can't take. What do any of these thoughts or emotions really change right now? Or in the grand scheme of things, what's a day or two make compared to the price that I can't put on my own mental health, that a company is refusing to put on my mental and physical health? If they're not going to decide, you have to decide. And when you're fatigued, someone like myself really struggles to differentiate between all that. Many I've spoke to across the industry and other industries have often called out deliberate tactics like that. How you break someone down and build them up again. You get them close to the point of failure, leave them dangling on the edge. Then when you see they're about to jump, you pull them back in again. Only this time, through years of experience, through psychological services in the form of a doctor, as well as another doctor and a physiotherapist, of which I've had for multiple years, it was very easy for me to pinpoint the changes, record them, and then call them out. So I think that's why I'm so comfortable in the fact that whatever happens, happens. I think my biggest concern and purpose for having a crack at it is why I'm throwing myself into the trail running community and trying to grow forward, because I think my biggest passion is trying to change that culture. And through doing so, you have to change the people. People in an environment filled with toxic masculinity, detrimental habits in the form of toughing something out. I don't know, I find it laughable. But perhaps that's because I've had the privilege of working with real leaders over the years, as well as at the moment some world-class athletes that can see the difference between toxicity and productivity. So it doesn't really matter in my mind if I drop the ball in one area. The future's bright, and that's the purpose. So if I need to take a day, take a week, who cares? I wasn't given the day in the week when I asked for it. I'm sure as shit gonna take it now when I need it. So yeah, hopefully that's 20 minutes of me rambling about. I mean, a window into it anyway. Give you guys the strength to, and again, just humanize me a bit. I'm not indestructible. I break all the time. I just got really good at building myself back up again and doing the maintenance so that I don't have exterior forces breaking me. It's behind you, mate. Morning. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Why do all that nonsense when you got people out here trying to better themselves? For a company that doesn't even understand mental health. What a joke. Anyway, something else we look forward to. Bloody 2K swim. Proper fish out of water. Or a mountain goat in water, perhaps. Mountaintray. Gotta admit, felt for having the camera on me. I don't feel completely batshit insane. Running around with these thoughts just flying around. And again, I'm sorry for those of you that might just want to enjoy the beauty that is Brisbane. Feel free to mute me. Or, yeah, like I keep saying, have a listen, see what you notice. You guys might have this all figured out. I don't really think it's something that you ever stop doing. It's very much a lifelong pursuit in my mind. Again, big reason why I chose trail running. Don't think I'm ever going to run out of trails to run, and it beats running that carousel in your head. There he is, in that gum tree. Big boy. He's probably looking for breakfast. Glad I took the time to get some fuel in before this. Got my electrolytes in, coffee, collagen, a couple of hot cross buns, a few jelly beans, a bit of water. Not really trying to, go too hard on this. Just get the legs ticking over on the trails. The uneven surface really does wonders for the core. And again, you do have to pay attention to where you're going. You can't really switch completely off, which again brings me back to my point. Why it's good probably running with a mate or doing something like this for me where I still feel a lot more settled than yesterday, but having the camera on and an outlet means I can capture these thoughts, review them, share them, but also too, I don't feel like I'm remunerating or fixating as much as I feel like I've left all that at the bottom of the mountain. So, slightly poetic, I guess. We're running along the summit trail. But yeah, look, there's lots of different strategies people can use. Sleep, rest and exercise, getting diet right. Probably the most difficult but most basic things to get right, as well as for myself. Again, I get professional support, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. For the most part, keeps me balanced, keeps me honest, and like what I was saying, gives me factual, tangible, recorded information when stuff starts going sideways. You can't really have a business turn around and say whatever they're going to try and say. So, look after yourselves, look after your mates, look after your sisters. And for those of you that might try and use mental health as a way out, have a second thought. For those that don't speak up, that end up not being here anymore because they can't get past the stigma, because they won't get believed. Sometimes you got to cop a loss, suck it up and get through it, and realise you got some lessons to learn, and that's okay. Other times you need to know when to back yourself, to put your protections in place from the start, like what I have, so that when stuff does go sideways, you're a lot more comfortable and at peace with it. As much as, like I've said, you don't really want to have to keep bringing it back up again, but it's also a very good way of moving through it. You should be on my time, not on some arbitrary timeline. So this trail is probably about less than 20 minutes from my house, or if you run it, lost track now, not as far as what I think it is, depending which way you go, about 15 k's if you hit the Chapel Hill side off Fleming Road. It's nice and cool still, ground's cool, slight breeze, still got that morning sun. Absolutely, positively refreshing. I try and push past the start of this video, but thanks guys for listening. Again, really do just hope it helps, at least empower, or yeah, again, make me a bit more relatable, because as much as I said at the start, the training's easy, but mentality is pretty challenging, obviously. You do have to push through a lot, and you do have to breathe and get basic stuff right, like diet, nutrition, sleep. So you can see how beneficial it is to mental and physical health. If I was injured, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be adjusting the parameters and doing what's possible. Just trying to keep a nice comfy cadence. It feels pretty comfortable. Water's going down well. Gut's in a good spot. Head's a bit clearer than it was when I started. And again, just loving being in the trails. Really do feel like I somehow simultaneously leave a bit of me out here and take a bit back. Cockatoo! It'll be fun on the downhill. Certain spots. Should get a bit of a view of the city. For whatever reason. Can't believe I'm saying this about a downhill section, but maybe because there's a lot of uphill with it. It's not really anywhere near as enjoyable as yeah, morning. As the other side of the mountain. Once we drop back down, I'll kick up Powerful Hour. Again, probably just some high cadence walking up that. And I'll take it a bit slower on Honey Eater, or Jacksonia rather. On the downhill section, just try and keep it smooth and controlled, film the whole thing. Where honestly that is one of my favourite spots to send it downhill. You'll see why when we get there. Trails somewhat like this, single track, a few switchbacks, a few staircases, a few rocks, and just a couple of lovely sections where it opens right up and gentle gradient down. Oh, if you're still with me, thanks for joining me on this run. We just cracked 80,000 subscribers this morning. Again, a number I can't quite comprehend. Thank you all so much. Like I've been saying, it means a lot to me, and hopefully this is one of the platforms or pillars I'll be able to build to support those around me, as they can see how real the challenges are and how to get through them. Oh, another hiker. Just behind you, mate. Morning, how are you?
Good, mate.
Thank you. So yeah, thanks guys for the 80,000. Probably worth mentioning, really quite passionate about getting trail running into the Brisbane Olympics. Heard some whispers, heard some rumours. We're in for a really big chance. So those of you that are in Australia, I've dropped some links in the past. I'll drop some more after this. Or reach out to me directly. I'd love to see it in it. Not for myself, but for the world-class athletes that have pushed and trained their whole lives to get to that point. Trail running has grown phenomenally over the years, and I think it has a very bright future with the culture that it's created for itself. And I really am quite big on culture. Again, it's that kind of strong culture that's helped me get to this point where I can run, film, laugh about my own insecurities, and leave it all out here with complete confidence. But I'm just having a blast. Couldn't have done that without that first track run I did at Mount Glorious, where again I was struggling to even get to the start line. I gotta say, panic attacks, pushed through, got a bus, got out there with people on an organised bus, saw everyone in much the same position that I was. Suddenly, it didn't seem so daunting. Then getting out there, giving it a go. At the summit. Now for the down, it's not really down. But, whoop, like I was saying, oh, hang on. Yeah, really pushing it myself, making a bunch of happy mistakes on that first trail run. You know, sending it way too hard on the downs, running out of steam on the ups. But on those uphills, being absolutely blown away with excitement and encouragement to see these guys and girls in their 60s and 70s just motoring up and down, hopefully somewhat similar to or the cadence I'm at now, which is a lot more controlled. It gave me the confidence that this was the right path, that through repetition over time, through constantly getting out there after it, even on days like yesterday where struggling to put one foot in front of the other, if I'm honest, I still got my training done, which mattered most. And it gives me faith that that longevity is in there. This community is not really about going out and breaking yourself, doing big, stupid, crazy stuff. As much of, I guess, the people that I now have the pleasure of surrounding myself with may seem like they do that from the outside, and I guess even to a lesser extent myself. Morning, brother. It really isn't about that. I guess seeing as we're on a roll, I'll channel my inner narcissistic tendencies and give a bit more insight into myself, why it is, well, a big part of the reason why it is I'm able to do this. Just a fairly energetic kid. Won't get too Freudian, just do the highlight reel from when I could start doing sports. I think I launched into 2 or 3 quite quickly. Wasn't necessarily all that good at them, but enjoyed getting out there and getting after it. Found goalkeeping, high pressure role for a 10-year-old. No one wanted to do it. Don't know how, why it makes sense. Probably a bit of genetics. Dad being a tennis player and playing games with me as a kid when I'm catching balls and things like that obviously gave me a very good head start. A lot of this is thanks to Dad, and you know, as a lot of you know, he passed away last year. But I'm so thankful for the upbringing he gave me. Morning, ladies. How are you?
Morning.
Yeah, I'm very, very appreciative of that. And he was my first coach. I think it took him a little bit to come around to goalkeeping, but once he saw how much fun I was having, I guess the semi-professional athlete that Dad was kind of kicked in. Taught me a lot of good skills I still use today. I use a kit bag that I used when I was playing rep football. He was the one that really did push in the right way and support at the start. He's always in my corner. Again, always anxious. Somehow not in goal. Didn't feel like I had anything to lose there. I had to get past 10 other players. If I made 2 saves, if I made 20 saves, I've done my job. Morning, ladies. How are you?
Morning.
Yeah, I used to, sorry, it's not really filming and talking, so I run past people. Morning.
Morning.
Might skip past these two and continue where I left off. Just behind you guys. Thank you. Morning. Yeah, so goalkeeping, really good physical workout. For whatever reason, I resonated or connected with being a goalkeeper more than a soccer player, as much as I'd still do all those drills that a soccer player would do. So quick feet, obviously, get like dancing, having a ball at your feet, a lot of core strength, upper body stuff, learning how to fall safely, really obviously put my body in a good position for this kind of stuff, where add in a lot of mountain biking, skateboarding, a little bit of rollerblading when I was a kid, funnily enough. But yeah, getting pretty competent with the blade. Downhill mountain biking, obviously out on these trails, getting used to picking a line, sticking to it, committing and sending it. And as well, how to use your body as a spring or a shock absorber. So that's going back probably 17 years ago. You can add in 10 years of raging alcoholism, if not more, in between that, which isn't a problem these days. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, so I guess I kind of hit reset, coming up on 9 years ago, really. Very close mate threw down some challenges to me, and yeah, ever since then, definitely failed a couple of times along the way, which I think you can't really get anywhere in this kind of stuff without that. The challenges of keeping a full-time, even for a minute there, 2 jobs plus training, understanding how to manage that physical and mental workload, deload, all kinds of different little injuries and niggles over the years. But that 7 to 9 years brings me to now, where we've got a little crowd of 80,000 people watching me get after, and my friends get after what matters to them. And yeah, for that I'm really truly humbled and trying to stay humbled, and gives me the encouragement to do this kind of longer format one where yeah, obviously there's difficulties running with the camera, not getting stuck in your own head, trying to share the physical journey as well as the natural beauty. But it gives you a bit of a window into, I guess, the past kind of maybe 4-year build, where I did the Brisbane Trail Ultra, 110 Ks, 5K event, off of a 6-month build, where again, another situation where pretty heavily deloaded from long days and work fit, fairly COVID fit, running around supermarkets doing 20 to 30 Ks every day for a community that for the most part wasn't very appreciative. but that's frontline services for you. They came around the end a little bit, some of them, but might save that for another day. Just don't really want to speak out of turn there, as again, aside from praise from all the employees, managers that I had the privilege of working with, seeing how hard they pushed during a time of need. The only places people could go were supermarkets. We're not doctors, we're not nurses, we're not police officers or firefighters. We're minimum wage for the most part. Don't see a parade for them. Not for me. I had great leadership above me, great team below me. We stayed safe. We got our job done. Which, again, it's a fairly physical role, and one which I had a lot of fun in. But again, the metrics for me were more about how do I keep my team safe first, and how do I get food on the shelf for a community in need. There were plenty more, doing a hell of a lot more than I was during that time, and still do. Not quite sure if you can see that, but the city's just in the distance there, which means I'm probably coming up on almost halfway in, as I think it kicked or dropped and into a car park. I might stop and get some water back in. Not sweating too much, which is nice. But try to keep on top of it with a midday swim coming up. Just behind you guys. Thank you. Morning.
Morning.
Oh yeah. Doesn't hurt to be kind. You don't want to be that arsehole on the trails. That car park was the last checkpoint at the Brisbane Trail Ultra. So after that, I was properly broken. Pretty sure my hip, I know it was out of place for about 2Ks in. Gut issues, lost 5 hours. Bit too much information, but if you've ever had gut issues while running, comes out one way or another. So, a bit of a endorphin kick, seeing the city, but also a big gut check and realising still I think about 14 or 20 Ks to go, maybe less. Felt like 20, but I think we came down here. Yeah, would have had to have gone up Kokoda along the summit and stopped there, came down here, through Barden, through the side of Cootha. Thankfully, got a very supportive fiance, soon to be wife this year, who was awake and able to talk and listen, and me listen to her, because at that point, yeah, I was taking everything I had just to put one foot in front of the other and just walk. Yeah, their support goes a long way, very long way. I think it's about an hour. We're on the phone for the worst part of it, is in it's kind of in single track sections I knew, but properly late at night, body's fighting sleep and the exhaustion. I was still getting bits of food in, fortunately, keeping on top of fluids just by the pace I was able to go at. But mentally, didn't have much left. You know, the music and shows or whatever I was trying stopped working, but listening to an angelic voice for a few hours, that's nice. Consistent pacing, that's what I've been targeting. Yeah, really made a difference. And once I got back into the street lights, I think I carried less water because I knew where the bubblers were. Felt a hell of a lot more confident to get across the line. And if anything, I think I started to recover and was able to break into a walk jog again. I don't know if I've really talked about that one that much on this yet, but yeah, very good experience. Morning. Good day for it. Nah, nice and cool. You got some dogs coming up? Hey buddy, hello. Morning guys.
Morning.
So yeah, I guess in the context of what I've been rambling on about, you get pretty good at knowing when you're about to break and what's doing it to you on 110k run. No surprise what was causing that, but also means that forever since then, well, I mean, I wouldn't even say necessarily broke. I got the job done. It's running PB 5Ks 3-4 days later, but I guess did break eventually in the sense that we're actually taking a longer deload, just parked the ego for a bit, enjoyed the win, done more recovery work. For scale, I'm doing more recovery work now on a normal week than what I did after the BTU. Because again, yeah, worth mentioning, I was working on ego, but it's still hard to kind of understand, again, like I've been saying, when to use it, when to push, and when to pull back. And around the Sunny Coast Marathon, a nerve got wrapped around, again, because my hip was out, nerve got wrapped around the hip, so every time I took a step, it's a pain that I don't really want to try and describe. Sharp shooting, to say the least. Just stop, fill up some water, and get going again. Pretty good example of a little pit stop. Just walk for a bit until I get around this U-turn. Just let that settle. And it's a pretty flat little jog to the base of Powerful Owl. Just be another bit of a grind up Powerful Owl. See how legs and everything are. I've ran it in the past and feel pretty strong, so I probably could. But again, more interested in just keeping a steady cadence, not blowing up. As I think it's more about hitting a 2-hour time limit than pace or anything like that. Off we go. I'd rather be on the grass for this. If I was sore, well, we'd still be on the grass, but if your legs are a bit over the uneven surface, keep it nice to give them a break on the pavement. I'll save that for when I got my road runners on. Gotta love Brisbane, just taps everywhere you want them. Heaps of shady spots. Good spot to go for a run and a picnic. Bring your family down. Let them set up camp somewhere. Do some laps. It's absolutely packed on the weekend. That's why you run here. Great bit of single trail up there too. I won't take that. Just want straight bed today. Locals might find that amusing. I'd quite often, I might wait till I get past that. Hey, magpie. Friend! Quite often start this run just from that car park a bit further back there, where you pop out coming down from the summit. Gives you a nice little warm up to get to Powerful Hour. But also like changing things up every now and then. More to do with the traffic and peak out than anything else, if I'm honest. Definitely feel the jelly beans doing their job. And the electrolytes and the water. Almost like I got this down pat. That's right, I'll take the stairs. Wait a minute, I'll just run up the hill. So just under 2.8 k's back to the top. Yeah, that Kokoda bit at the start of the summit trail, but we'll go to the right back down Jacksonia once we get up this monster. Just trying to take little steps, lots of them, not too fast, just nice and consistent. Be a bit challenging for me when it starts to kick, but this one does have a lot more runnable sections to break it up. Getting a bit warmer. Really nice breeze though. Just trying to make sure my posture and form's alright. It's alright with the camera at this kind of speed and cadence, but it is a bit off-putting if I'm honest. May have a solution for that for the weekend. As it is getting to the point where I'm doing this enough, I can probably start upgrading things. What mate? Hey, buddy. It is nice not having to constantly hit record, and just being able to capture things as they happen. Heart rate's good, but just feel the form lacking a little bit there. Not much point suffering through poor form, incompetent injury when going up decent amount of vert. This is where it can get a bit annoying. you think you're at the top, you are not. Obviously climbed quite a bit of vert again, but only just under halfway. Keeping it nice and controlled on the down. Looking to keep form strong and recover easy. Morning, how are ya? You guys ever notice how nice those trees are over there? They're just absolutely splendorifically, pontifically brilliant. And don't pee on your shoes. Might have another couple of jelly beans when we get to Jacksonia. Double check timing. Because if I'm just under, I think that's going to be alright. To then run strong in the roadies and swim strong with fuck all time to cool down. Obviously getting a bit quieter now after what, nearly an hour and a half of running. That's what it's all about. It's really nice running it. There's constant cadence and pace, so it used to be quite challenging. Challenging, sure, in the sense that you're running uphill, but it's easier mentally to sit in it. I think that's the last bit of vert from memory, except for a kick to the road. Simpsons Falls that way, Gold Mine, nice single track that way, way down that way. Pretty well. I'm gonna try and run out of water by the time I get to the bottom. So make the downhill a bit easier on the joints. Even though the water's obviously going in me. I'm constantly sweating. After every climb, it's always a nice reward. It's beautiful just running in the shade. And the cool, fresh highly oxygenated air. Hey, little buddy. Jelly bean time. So I think by the time we get back down there, that's the not too shady, but better than nothing. Trail running side of things will be done. Chuck the joggers on, do some car park Ks. This is trail running. Blue Coast Power, I love you. And a worm. Just trying to get as much fuel in as I can now. So it's just chuck the runners on and go and recover on the downhill. How you going? Good, thanks. Good day for it.
It's really beautiful.
It's nice and cool. Yeah, yeah.
hot.
Nah, not at all. That breeze is just magic.
I know. Still sweating like a... Yeah, I was just...
Yeah. You don't need to swim afterwards. You've already done your swim.
Yeah, that's right. I can tell people I've been swimming.
All right. Probably a bit too much, but I'm going downhill. Ain't gonna matter. Just gotta remember not to send it. All right. Home stretch. And then another 30 minutes. So just down there, or down there rather, it's where Kokoda comes out. Oh, fuck it. Where we crossed over earlier to go down the summit trail. And another 2.5 or just over back to the car and the car park, which if I stick to pacing pretty much puts me bang on 10 bloody hours. 10? Jesus. 2. Dose. You might already be able to see why I really find this section of track quite delicious. But we'll keep it steady, keep it controlled. Hey butterfly, let the food settle, keep an eye out for bloody snakes. Oh, it's nice and cool. It's cooler on the trails running than sitting down. Really am looking forward to a protein shake after this. Good thing I brought one with me. And a bunch of carbs. So I can get that in nice and quick after the run. It gives it time to settle. And if need be, I can cheat for the swim. Chuck some jelly beans or gels in just before I get in the pool. Or 20 minutes ago. Just so it's just sitting right in my gut. As I said, I did eat a bit before I came out, and did a little bit of a carb load yesterday, and a really filling dinner, which probably also makes the point of difference. Another butterfly. It's been a lot at the moment. Just distracted by the butterflies. Waking up strong too, because I think the day before I had a fairly... Oh no, day before I had a track day, set a PB, did another 15k, but I think I must have fallen asleep. Actually, yeah, I think I had liquid protein, but not necessarily, say, chicken and pasta or some sort of filling red meat and carbs, whereas yesterday I had a good mix of carbs, meats, liquid proteins, and shakes. Yeah, and a few tasty bit of carb loading as well. So again, start the run talking about nutrition and all that. I'm not perfect, I make mistakes, but in terms of nutrition, I can kind of tell the difference between running out of energy and proper anxiety, although a lot of people do obviously struggle to make decisions when you're tired or diet's not right, and we need time to get that stuff right, as well as running uphill in full sun. Not exactly all that talkative. Nice bit of single track in front of me in the shade after a bunch of water, some electrolytes, and a healthy handful of jelly beans. It really just brings me back to life. So again, hopefully these are just some real world live examples of how lots of little decisions, lots of little physical and mental steps can really add up to something quite special. And I just can't get past how nice of a day it is after the heat we've been having to have the trails pretty well to myself, aside from a few friendly folk out there. I am overthinking the bloody road bit a bit. More so because I think it's probably better to, I don't know, jump in the car and drive somewhere where I can get a flat section and just do 5Ks than do car park Ks where I might be in the sun. But we can assess that when we're there. No point fixating on it now. Another one. Gotta pick your line, keep it smooth, keep it controlled. Use the terrain to your advantage. Try not to cross over your legs, as in keep your left foot on your left side, right foot on your right side. Might sound simple, but when you're running, if you take a big step with your right foot onto a corner turning right, it's a hell of a lot of strain on your hips, on your legs, on your groin, on everything, ankles, knees. Whereas if you try and just keep your hips facing the way you're going, almost like your body's on a train track. Turn with your hips, turn with your shoulders. For me, it's a bit like imagining I'm on a downhill bike and my legs are the suspension, keeping the posture up. Someone must be doing loops, or they just kindly let some water out. This is the bit that just really generally want to send it on. They're going to be doing some backburning through here soon. Might have noticed it up at the summit. It's pretty overgrown. A lot of houses on either sides of this. Believe it or not, it's good for the forest. How's the serenity? Almost out of water. It's a good spot to be in. Coming back into the car park. Got a few mouthfuls to go. Really just trying to keep on top of hydration. more than anything. Gotta admit, joints feel noticeably better after the deload. Wouldn't say I was ever in pain, but you definitely notice when they start getting a bit tighter in terms of mobility. Feel quite free in the range of motion. Sure, the swim will tell me for sure again, but I think the swim and the rides really paying dividends, as well as the saunas and ice baths. Ice baths. Lots of signs on these trails. Might not tell you too much if you don't know what the trails are, but generally you can at least know which way's up, which way's down, or what your big markers are, like Gap Creek Reserve, Car Park, the Summit, Sir Samuel Smith Drive, say Fleming Road, Mogger Road, which can get confusing for those over Chapel Hill Way because it's not that Mogger Road, a Gap Mogger Road, which I don't think anyone ever knows about. It was Arden. But if in doubt, head up, find some towers, or try and find a main fire break. There's generally plenty of signs on those, and generally speaking, fairly straightforward in terms of if it's going up or down. You'll hit a road eventually, but I wouldn't come out here as a first timer without at least a saved copy of a map. Oh, that was a bit technical. Remember hitting this on my mountain bike. Just again, this is nice. Just to make sure, because for the most part you got full phone reception, but you get spun out in the gully or a creek, you may not. As well as obviously these days a lot of people have watches, and pro tip, if you see something that looks like very well worn tread marks, keep an ear out. You'll have a bike up your ass pretty quick. As much as they're shared use, they could be going down at 30-40k an hour. Last thing they want to do is hit your dumb ass if you've got headphones in. Just trying to think of a bad day I've had on these trails. Nope. In my riding days, I had plenty of walks with a bunch of gear, but all part of the experience, I think. home sweet home. Here's the other angle of where I did my little podcast, my first one. As well as the beauty that is Cap Creek Reserve. Would have been sitting over there. Toilets, bubblers, barbecues. Peace and quiet. Almost on an hour, or 14 k's. Just because of the stops. Might just round it out for 14 k's. That's what, a 7k per hour, which is pretty much target zone for me in terms of heart rate as well as pace. Now we're looping back on where we started. That was a fun one. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, feel a whole lot better. Magic of trail running. And we're back. Might stop that there, reset, suss out this run, see you all in a little bit. As always, stay safe, mash it. Mouth's a bit dry.